Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Gardener's Corner program. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Thank you for listening in. I am Michaela Berryhill. I'm the Field Crops Extension Agent for both Person and Granville County's Cooperative Extension Office, and I cover the crops of corn, soybeans, wheat, and tobacco for the growers in the county and help them with any problems that's going on. So, for today's episode, I'd like to first start out with giving an update of what's going on in the field. I'm recently back from maternity leave, so I'm still getting caught up on everything that's going on, but this is what I've seen so far in the past few weeks. We'll start out with tobacco. It has been raining a lot. It rained basically constantly for quite a while, about 2 months, basically the entire time that tobacco has been in the ground. And then it turned off very hot, very dry, very quickly. So we're starting to see some issues come up in tobacco. Some things that I've seen this year so far are foliar leaf spots. That's not surprising due to all of the rainfall that we've been seeing. It's been hard to get fungicides out to prevent the spread of these foliar leaf spots, and the rainfall in general helps spread those foliar leaf spots, including things like target spot, brown spot, frog eye, leaf spot, and multiple others. Those are the three that I've seen this year so far. So if it is target spot, we're late in the season, but you still could put out an application of Quadris, depending on, harvest timing and your ability to get over the crop without harming it. Um, but please let me know if you're seeing any of these foliar leaf spots. I can come out and give you an identification and a good management tactic for it. Another thing I've been seeing in the field quite a bit this year and actually saw a little bit last year is tobacco mosaic virus, or TMV. This is a disease that has been seen a lot in the past. It was very debilitating to farms, and it's kind of been a while since we've seen very large cases of this disease. But it's been popping up, like I said, the past 2 years. So I just want to give some reminders that if you do have tobacco mosaic virus, a lot of times it comes from the greenhouse, especially if you have a very widespread case. So I know this isn't exactly the time of the year to be talking about it, but I just want to remind everybody that you need to have proper sanitation in your greenhouses. So keep people from smoking, and then going into your greenhouses that can spread tobacco mosaic virus. Don't smoke and then go into the tobacco field to top or sucker or anything like that, because the open wounds, you could spread the disease that way as well. If you have the virus on your hands, it can easily spread into those plants and get into the rest of the system. If you are having a lot of tobacco mosaic virus in the field, like if you have really, really high incidence and you didn't see it in the greenhouse, it probably still came from there. So you need to get those trays and you need to destroy them. If you have styrofoam trays that had the plants with the virus, that virus is going to stick around and you're going to have it next year too. So go ahead and destroy those trays. Make sure you really sanitize the greenhouse and everything so that you get a fresh start next year. Um, Make sure whenever you destroy these trays that you do it far away from the greenhouse. Don't do it right next to it and leave debris from those trays right next door, because again, that can spread back into your greenhouse next year. Also, keep note of the fields that have high incidence of this disease, because you need to be putting a resistant variety into that field the next time tobacco is in it, because it will stick around in that field and reinfest. So I have a list of resistant tobacco varieties. If you have any questions about this, please reach out to me and let me know. And also, if you're seeing any issues in your field, let me know now so I can come out and get a sample, especially if it's something that you think you're going to be needing to talk to your insurance agent about. Let me come out, get samples, get them to the lab at NC State, the Plant Disease and Insect Clinic. and get some documentation so that whenever we get to the end of the season, we've already got it handled and you can communicate that to your insurance agents easily, and I'm able to help you out with that. I have not gotten any reports or seen it in the field of any major black shank or Granville wilt issues, but if you are having those, please let me know so that I can come out and take a look. Moving on to wheat, since wheat is currently coming out of the field right now. Lots of reports of wheat that has sprouts in it due to all the rain, which is not surprising. As wheat gets rain on it, the kernels get absorb moisture and then it dries out and they have to release that moisture again. And in that process, sometimes it can cause those kernels to germinate and to have sprouts in the wheat. Obviously, we don't want that because those kernels cannot be used for anything. So that is not great for quality. I've also heard some reports of folks having some kind of red, purplish colored kernels coming out of the field. And that means that we had some head scab in the field this year. Now, like I mentioned before, I was on maternity leave for a lot of the end of the wheat season, so I don't know exactly how the head scab traveled this past year, but head scab is a disease that you don't really know from year to year exactly how it's gonna impact your wheat crop. It's blown in from usually other countries. It's either in the wind or it's not. It's really a toss up each year if we're gonna have a heavy head scab year or not. The only ways to prevent it are with resistant varieties and with fungicide applications at flowering, which happens basically around 5 to 7 days in a wheat crop. So it's a very, very short time span to try to get a fungicide out, but it's the best and only tool we basically have to prevent. So in future years, keep up with my newsletters and my emails. I usually try to send out updates on if there is heavy head scab coming in from a online tool that shows that. It's a tool that tracks head scab as it travels in the United States, and you can sign up for email updates of that tool. If you are interested, please let me know and I can help you get signed up for that. As for this year, the wheat that you've got coming out of the field, if you have any wheat that you would like to get tested for quality before you take it to a mill, please let me know. There is a lab at NC State under Dr. Angela Post that does free milling quality samples for wheat, as long as North Carolina farmers send them in through their extension agent. So these tests will tell you, the main things, which are moisture, test weight, and falling number. Those are the three that you can get from most mills. Like I believe that Camp locally will have those three tests available, but it also will give protein percent, which is important to many flour mills, as well as DON, which is a measurement of the amount of mycotoxin that's in the wheat. So if it did have that head scab, that's what it's going to analyze. That's what it's going to find. It'll have a high DON percentage for that. And so this will give you an idea of the quality of your wheat before you pay for the trucking for it to get it to a mill or wherever you're wanting to sell it. So please let me know. More than happy to take those and get them to NC State's campus for you. Now moving on to things like soybeans and corn. I have not heard many things locally about anything happening in soybeans and corn, good or bad, but be on the lookout for nutrient deficiencies. With all of this rain fall, I've been seeing in other parts of the state that has been happening, some micronutrient deficiencies because the roots are not able to access the nutrients because they're not able to grow because basically they're drowning. And so please let me know if you're seeing any crazy coloring, your corn or your soybeans have like a reddish tint or a yellow tint. let me know. I can take some samples and we can figure out what's going on. Depending on the deficiency and what kind of status the plant is at and everything, there are things that we can do to combat that at this point in the season, so we can fix it. There also is most likely going to be a good bit of foliar diseases because of all of the rainfall that we've been having. I have seen some reports of some high level corn diseases in other parts of the state. And previously, especially in corn, it's been very difficult to get any management on the corn after like the 7 leaf stage because of how tall corn gets. There's no equipment that can run through it. But with the introduction of spray drones into agricultural systems, we actually have the option to do late management on corn and even on soybeans if you don't like to ride over your soybeans. So if you do have a foliar disease, a drone can put out an application of a fungicide to help protect the kernels and to help keep the corn, growing and green and happy for as long as possible into the season. If you have a micronutrient deficiency, a visible deficiency symptom that it needs some sort of intervention, that is a time that I would recommend a foliar application of a nutrient. I don't recommend that very often, but this year we very well may be seeing those issues, and so that is something that a drone application would be perfect for. So a lot of folks don't even like to look at their corn at this point because there's not much we can do about it because of how tall it is, but now there are options. So please let me know if you're seeing anything like this in the field. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over and let us hear a little bit from our sponsors on this very happy 4th of July.
South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia, has been in business since 1958. The Myers family of South Boston Memorials believe that every life has a story. For 4 generations, their life work has been to present and preserve that story for our prosperity to hear. Allow South Boston Memorials to tell yours. South Boston Memorials has granite memorials, markers, and mausoleums, over 300 in stock. In-house laser etching is available at South Boston Memorials, and they can also make pet markers. For memorial benches, vases, and monuments, call on South Boston Memorials at 434-572-3859 or visit their website, sobomemorials.com. That's 434-572-3859. South Boston Memorials is located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia. Like us on Facebook or visit the website, sobomemorials.com. Give the gift of preservation. South Boston Memorials now offers cleaning options for memorials for your loved ones. Call them today at 434-572-3859.
This month, 2 things are important to a lot of us here in Person County. Number 1 is getting those delicious vegetables and pickles put up for winter weather, whether you grew them or bought them at one of the farmers markets. T.G. Brooks Supply Company has all canning jars in half pints, quarts, half gallons, and they have the pressure cookers and bath canners, strainers, funnels, and all your canning supplies. They have stone jars for pickling, too. The second thing is to keep everything green, and T.G. Brooks Supply Company can handle all kinds of watering needs. First of all, they have sprinklers, water hose, sprayers, and water hose parts. They have irrigating equipment. They also have piping for irrigating. T.G. Brooks Supply Company has heritage animal feeds and dog fences, and most of all, Pride dog food by the bag. They have 20% deer pellets and food plots and food plot mixes and salt blocks. They offer so many kinds of mulch in bulk or bagged. You can get your mulch by the large scoop. They have delivery services available. Bring your truck, trailer, and they'll load it up for you. When it comes to yard tools to do the work, they have your hose, diggers, choppers, and everything you need to beautify. Also remember the new Maybell's Boutique just across the street for children's clothing, shoes, all kinds of wear for summer. Maybell's is open Wednesdays and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Check them out on Facebook. T.G. Brooks Supply Company, proudly serving the farmer, homeowner, and the landscaper in the area since 1936. People have relied on 411 Helena Maria Road in Timberlake. Phone number 336-364-3016.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Gardener's Corner program. Thank you to all of the sponsors for the program to allow us to keep on doing this, to bring information to you in multiple ways. Again, my name is Michaela Berryhill. I'm the field crops agent for North Carolina Cooperative Extension in Person and Granville counties. I cover the field crops in the area, which include corn, tobacco, soybeans, wheat, as well as some alternative crops. So things like hemp, sorghum, and sesame, and a few other crops as well. For this part of the show, I kind of want to bring it back to the basics and really explain cooperative extension, what we do, who we are, why we're here, what we can do for you. Most people may have heard of us in one form or the other. A lot of folks have heard about 4-H and know about extension that way, but may not know all of the other services that we provide. Basically, NC State Extension's mission is to extend research-based information to all North Carolinians. So we want to be the go-to resource for connecting to research, to connecting to education, getting education out to communities, improving economies and families for the entire state. So just a little bit of some background on extension in North Carolina. We are the second largest extension network in the nation. We are just after Texas. So whenever I tell folks this, if you look at the size of Texas and the size of North Carolina, we're the second biggest. So in my opinion, that means we're the best because we're a smaller state. But that's just a very biased opinion that I have. So basically in North Carolina, there is an extension office in every single one of the 100 counties, as well as the Cherokee reservation. We have an office out there. So there's 101 extension offices in the state. Each office is connected to NC State University as well as NC A&T University. It's a cooperation between those two universities, the state government, the county government, and as well as the national government. So it's a cooperation between all of those entities. We kind of laugh in extension saying that we're the redheaded stepchildren because we don't really fall under any one person. We're not just NC State employees. We're not just county employees. We're not state employees, but we're kind of a mixture of all of them, which is great because it gives us the flexibility to be what we need to be in each different community. So across all of extension, you are going to find great resources, great people to help you, but each office in each of the counties is going to be slightly different because we want to cater to what the community needs. So for example, here in Person and in Granville counties, we have a lot of cross-county agents because we share a lot of resources, and that is not the case in all neighboring counties across the entire state. So we do what we need to do to be able to best bring information to you in our community. So things that we all do, all of the agents in the office do what we can to help the citizens of our counties with any problems that we are able to. So for the agriculture agents, that looks at like helping farmers for the most part. So if a farmer has a weed, a pest, a disease, some fertility issues, or just something crazy, they have no idea what's going on, we are able to go out and help that farmer. So if it is a field crop, if it's in corn or soybeans or tobacco, I would go out and help them. If it is in a lawn, a garden, in a commercial vegetable field, in an orchard of trees, that's going to fall under Johnny Coley, our horticulture agent. If it is in a backyard flock of chickens, in a pasture with 3 horses in it, in a large pasture with 100 cows, or in a hog house or a dairy farm, that's going to fall under our livestock agent, Kim Woods. And so it doesn't really matter exactly where that issue lands. We will have someone in the office that is able to help with it, big and small. Whenever it comes to things like healthy eating or healthy living, um, food safety, food preservation, local foods, things along those lines, that would fall under our Family and Consumer Sciences agent, Jennifer Brown. And I know most people that listen to this show every single week hear all of the things that we do, but may not know that we are connected and exactly what our job is, other than the programs that we put out. So we are not just only putting out programs, we also will help you with any individual concerns that you have. So I just want to bring it back to the basics and explain exactly what that looks like. Same thing with 4-H. The goal is to bring education to K through 12 graders, with hands-on experiences, and any questions that you could have about any sorts of programs or activities that you would want a child or your child to have, you can let our 4-H agent, Haley Dickerson, know, and she will do her best to help you. She's recently started and she's doing a great job. So any questions that you have on a program or activity that a youth could be doing, especially if it has to do with hands-on learning, she will be able to help you. We also all, of course, plan events. And that's what we typically talk about on this show, are the different events that we have going on. So as far as the agriculture agents, we intend to host things like field days, production meetings, workshops, where farmers are able to come, and in some cases they learn new skills, and some they've received training to become certified in different things that they need to continue farming. Um, Workshops that will focus on very specific topics. For example, like me, Johnny, and Kim will work together to put on pond workshops and things like that to cover very specific topics related to farms or farm management. Jennifer does a lot of series. She does monthly Extension at Home series. She also plans large annual events like Aging with Gusto to promote healthy aging and increasing community involvement for older adults. So she does both series and those large events. Of course, the big thing for 4-H is Summer Fun, which has different camps throughout the summer for youth to come to. But there is also programming throughout the year in schools and outside of schools, and things like 4-H clubs. So that is what you can find in that. This year, the Summer Fun has everything ranging from emergency services, robots, life skills, and much more. Just to dive in a little bit more on the agricultural agents in particular, what we can do for you, whether you are a large farmer, a homeowner, you have a small garden, or even a garden box outside of your home. What we can do to help you is again, solve problems. So if you have a tree that's dying out in your landscape, if you have a dead spot in your yard, if you have a garden and your plants are not producing, or if you have a pasture and you have weeds in it, if you have chickens and you need help figuring out how to manage them, if you have um, corn and want you see a disease come through your corn, anything big or small, that is what we're here for, is to help you solve problems. One thing that I do within my program, and Kim and Johnny do also, is perform on-farm research. And this is to really drive home the research-based information to farmers so that they can see the practices out in the field, see that they work, and put them on their own farm. So for example, in the past, I have done research projects on a lot of different topics, but one is pre-plant fertility, or basically what some farmers have started doing is there are special additions to planters that you can get where you can put fertility in the furrow, which is basically in the strip in the ground or the hole in the ground that farmers put seeds in whenever they are planting. And the idea is that instead of putting fertilizer over the entire area, the entire ground that can leach or get lost from rain, or be washed away, it is instead put directly beside of the seed so that whenever the plant germinates, it's right there at the seed. And there's been a lot of mixed research on whether this works or it doesn't. And so I've done some on-farm research trials where we've tried out some of these in-furrow products to see if they work well for farmers that are putting things in the ground like corn and soybeans. And so that's one example of the type of research that I have done. Johnny has done some research on pawpaws. So he has looked at some different varieties of pawpaws, which is a type of fruit that is native to North Carolina. And he has, analyzed different varieties to see which ones produce the most viable fruit, which ones are the most productive, which ones, have not done too well. And he has done a great job with that research. Kim and I have actually worked together on some research looking at the application of both hog manure and dairy manure, which, is used as fertilizers for some farms, onto corn, and the impact of that continued application of manure onto cornfields, what is the long lasting impact on that. So we kind of worked together on that one because it had both the animal aspect to it as well as the crop. So we are also doing that to try to bring the best information to our farmers that we can. One other thing is, if you are a farmer and you have any sort of issue where you think you are going to need an insurance claim, I help growers every single year if they have a disease or something else that severely impacts their yields and they put an insurance claim in on it because it is out of their control. It is something that they did all of the right practices and it still came onto their crop. Then I write a letter and help that farmer to get those insurance claims so that they can still continue to farm the next year. We also can help with soil sampling. And that's another thing that I'd like to talk about during this part of the show a little bit later, is soil sampling. But we can help growers learn the best ways to soil sample, how many samples they need to take in specific fields, and then reading the soil samples back and exactly what that means for their fertility in their fields. And in some cases, depending on exactly what you're looking for, we can also help find markets for different ag products. So for example, I work with growers with field crops. Again, a lot of our field crops go to animal feed, and so that's typically where it goes. But for a crop like wheat, if you have a high quality product, you can also sell it at a flour mill. And so sometimes I help farmers plug into those different markets so that they can get a higher cost for their product. And also we can help with expanding or finding new crops to help. So for example, I held an alternative crops field day to introduce farmers who grow the traditional field crops to some other crops that they might be able to implement into their operation to increase their variability, their profits, and hopefully make a positive change to their farm. Basically, anything big or small, doesn't matter how big your operation is. If you have a farm, if you don't have a farm, it doesn't matter if you've got one tree or one chicken or whatever else you may be looking into, we can help you with it. We like to joke that here at Extension we're the best kept secret because all of our services, for the most part, it depends on what you're looking for, but usually it's free. So if you are having trouble with something and you call us out and we come out and visit, it is free. There's no cost for us coming and doing. Some of our programs have costs to them depending on what the program is. A lot of mine tend to be free because a lot of my production meetings and field days have industry involvement and they tend to cover any meals that we might have, but other programs do not. So you might have like a small $5-10 fee for food or more, depending on what kind of skills and goodies you could take home with you from those different events. But it's a range, and like I said, we typically have at least some free events in each program every single year. So no matter the issue you're having, big or small, please give us a call. And before we go to another commercial break, I also wanted to quickly discuss soil sampling. This isn't typically the time of year that we talk about soil sampling, but I still wanted to bring it up. We are in the free, you can send in soil samples for free right now because we are outside of peak season. The cost of soil samples typically goes up to $4 per sample. The cost of the soil samples goes up to $4 during the peak season, which is December 1st to March 31st. Right now, it is completely free. So I encourage you that if you are able to, especially if you have gardens or pastures or anything like that, and you are able to get samples this time of year. Typically, soil samples are good for up to 3 years. So if you get it during this time and you put in on the soil sample form any products that you have put on it this year, things like lime or fertilizer, the NCDA can calculate the impact of that onto your soil, and you can still get an accurate soil recommendation. Soil samples are the easiest, the most basic, and the most cost-effective ways of making sure that whatever you are trying to grow is successful. Even at $4 a sample during the peak season, it is very well worth it. A lot of the problems that myself and the other ag agents see out in the field could be helped by a accurate and up-to-date soil sample and following that soil report and doing what it says. For example, for a lot of crops, having the incorrect pH level in your soil can cause different diseases to come out. In tobacco, if you have fields that are too too high in pH, which is not a typical problem in our soils because we tend to have acidic soils, which are lower in pH. But occasionally, if a farmer over limes and he has high pH, it can cause black shank, which is a very, very devastating disease to tobacco. So, making sure that you have an up-to-date and accurate soil sample so that you are not putting too much or too little product on your field is priceless. And another way to think about it is, if you typically put the same amount of fertilizer on your garden or field or whatever you are thinking of every single year, in some cases you could be putting more product than what you need. And so you are just basically applying money down the drain because things, especially like nitrogen, or potassium, which is K on a soil report, they leach very quickly in our soils. So you applying more than you need each year is not going to help you in future years because that nutrient is going to be gone by next summer. So having that soil report is going to save you money, time, and headache. So please, if you have any questions about this, give us a call. If you want to go ahead and start preparing for your soil management plan for the fall, whenever you do soil sample, please let us know. I can help farmers, figure out what fields they want to consolidate and how they should set up those samples so that they're getting the most bang for their buck. For those samples, we can help you with that. So with that, I am going to turn it back over to our sponsors for the show, and I will talk to you all again soon.
Do you have those annoying potholes in your driveway? Need some driveway regrading? Or maybe you just need some new gravel? Give JT Allison a call. Jody has been in business for over 25 years, specializing in driveway grading and hauling gravel. He also does all types of small tractor work and some backhoe and bush hogging work. Jody strives to do a top-notch job and to make sure that you, the customer, is always happy. Whether it's a small job or a big job, we have multiple truck sizes to accommodate your needs. Here at JT Allison, we appreciate your business. Check us out on Facebook at JT Allison LLC or give us a call at 336-583-6250. Jody and Kim Allison. We are rocking the county one load at a time.
All right, welcome back, and thank you for that word from our sponsors. Again, my name is Michaela Berryhill, and I'm the host today of the host for today's Gardener's Corner program. I'm the field crops agent for both Person and Granville County's Cooperative Extension Office. I cover crops like corn, soybeans, wheat, and tobacco. And today I've been talking a lot about an update for those crops, the basics of what Extension can do for you. And now I'd like to go into some of the upcoming programs for Cooperative Extension. So first of all, I'm going to start out with Johnny Coley and his programs that are coming up. One really big thing is he is about to start a new round of Master Gardener volunteer training. So this is a great program where you can learn how to become a Master Gardener, which is a great feat. It costs $175, which is a lot, but the amount of information that you will get during this training is it's amazing. So it's going to start on August 14th and it will end on November 20th. It's every Thursday from 9 to 12 is when they have Master Gardener volunteer training. It'll be at the volunteer department on US 158 in Oxford. It's the Berea Volunteer Fire Department. He talks about a lot of different topics during this training, but it includes soils and plant nutrients, lawns, entomology, native plants, plant pathology, vegetable gardening, botany, composting, container gardening, and small fruit or tree fruit gardening. So it will cover a lot of different topics. By the end of it, you really will know your stuff and you will become a master gardener. So again, please contact Johnny Coley if you have any questions about this. You can call the Granville or Person County Extension Office. The Granville County number is 919-603-1350. The Person County number is 336-599-1195. Or you can email him at johnny_coley@ncsu.edu. Another workshop that he has that he is helping with coming up is over in Henderson, North Carolina, over in Vance County, but it will be a great program, so it would be worth the traveling out there. It's a pollinator identification workshop. It is free to the public. You'll learn why pollinators matter, hands-on, they'll have a hands-on identification session, and there will be pollinator protection tips. It is going to be Saturday, July 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. at 210 South Park Drive in Henderson, North Carolina. You can register by calling actually the Vance County Extension Office, or you could probably also let Johnny know if you were interested in attending. But that office number in Vance County is 252-438-8118. Again, you could also probably let Johnny know that you're interested and he can get you more information on that program. Now I'm going to hop over to Kim Woods, our livestock agent. She is helping with a 5-county beef tour coming up. This is an annual event that rotates around 5 different counties. This year it is in Warren County. It is going to be Saturday, July 12th, starting at 8:30 in the morning at 188 Searles Farm Road in Warrenton, North Carolina. There will be 3 stops on the tour. One is Searles Farms. EB Harris Livestock is the next one, and then Williams Equipment is the last. There will be discussions from producers and North Carolina specialists on topics including breeding season management, utilizing feed resources, feeding efficiency, feed harvesting and mixing, and equipment usage on your operation. Registration is required, and you want to sign up quick because I think they have a limited number of spots for this event. It will have a catered lunch provided, so you need to contact the Warren County livestock agent, which is Matthew Place, at 919-496-3344 to register. Again, I think you could let Kim know that you wanted to attend and she could help you get signed up for that as well. So you can call either of our offices also. We have a flyer here that has all of the different locations pinned and directions to them with the address. So please let us know if you are interested in that 5-county beef tour. From Jennifer Brown, she is going to be having a freezer meal series coming up soon. It's going to be on Tuesday, July 15th at 10 in the morning. It's a virtual Zoom workshop, and it's part of her monthly Extension at Home series. It's free to attend. If you can't attend live, you can register for this event, and they will send you an email of the recorded webinar and handouts. So even if you can't attend on July 15th at 10 in the morning, you can still get all of that information that you need. To register, you can go to go.ncsu.edu/freezer to register, or you can contact us again at the extension office and we can get that information to you so you can get registered. Again, our office number at Person County is 336-599-1195. And the Granville County office is 919-613 excuse me, 919-603-1350. Sorry about that. I've been on maternity leave and I'm just now getting back into the swing of things, so I got confused on the numbers there for a second. And now I'd like to go into some events that I have coming up in my program. Johnny and I are working together to host a farm worker health and safety training. This training will be held in Spanish for any farm workers who need to be educated on things like the worker protection standards, heat stress, basic CPR. And then we will have split sessions for tobacco producers as well as for produce farmers. So one session will be on green tobacco illness and the other will be on food safety in the field. If you are a tobacco grower and you are GAP Connections certified, then this will cover all of the safety training that is required, all the safety topics for your farm workers for your GAP certification. This training is going to be on July 9th. There's going to be 2 sessions, so you can either come to the morning session or the afternoon session. The morning session will be from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., and the afternoon session will be from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be at the Granville County Expo Center, which is 4185 US Highway 15 South in Oxford, North Carolina. We'll be partnering with both ECU Health and the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute to cover all of the topics that, again, is needed for your GAP Connection certification. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out with that. But give me a call or go onto our website to get registered for this training. Last but not least, NC State Extension every year hosts a tobacco field day. This field day typically rotates between 3 different research stations, but by the luck of the draw, it has not happened in the past 3 years here. But it is happening this year in 2025 at the Oxford Tobacco Research Station. There is going to be an NC State Tobacco Field Day. It's going to be on July 22nd, starting at 9 in the morning. There will be presentations from multiple field faculty on a variety of topics for tobacco. Again, this event hasn't been in this area in a long time, so I'm sure they're going to have a lot of very good topics that they'll be covering there. If you have questions, please let me know. You can call me and I can get you registered, or I can send you the link for you to be able to register for this field day. Again, it's going to be on July 22nd at 9 in the morning at the Oxford Tobacco Research Station. I've been seeing a lot of the tobacco out on the station and it looks very interesting. I know of some of the projects that they've got going on the station, and I think that it would be very worth your while to attend. They're going to have a catered lunch afterward. It's free of charge, no entry fee or anything like that, so please come out for that field day. With that, that is all that I have for this week's Gardener's Corner program. Thank you for tuning in on this July 4th. I hope everybody has a very happy July 4th. Thank you for all of those that have served our country. And I hope that you enjoy this holiday as we celebrate the things that the men and women that serve this country have allowed us to have. So with that, thank you for listening. Please give us a call again at the Person County office, 336-599-1195, or the Granville County office, 919-603-1350, if you have any questions or would like to sign up for any of the events that I mentioned. Everybody have a very nice day.